iOS bug. iOS bug. Another one. Well, yeah, this is strange. It has a rather lot of bugs, right? Who'd have thought? Yeah, so lately there has been a lot of strange things happening with the iOS. I mean, it usually was the operating system that was fluid, stable, somewhat predictable. And don't get me wrong, those were its strengths. And I think that a lot of people liked iOS because of that. Oops, sorry. But yeah, something has changed. And lately I've been wondering, what is it? And I have some thoughts. So you remember back in the day when iOS and Android were like just starting. What were the main differences? iOS was very limited at first, but what it did, what it offered, it did exceptionally well. While Android, I feel like Android was, don't get me wrong, it was too open at the beginning. I mean, after some initial versions, you could do almost everything, even without root. You could modify how it looks, how it feels. You can change the icons, you can change the launchers, you had widgets, you can basically customize it the way you want it. And I think that this was a problem back then. It offered too much for what it could handle and what the hardware could handle back then. While iOS was like very simple, keep it fluid, and don't make changes that could confuse the user. But yeah, time have passed. I think that those systems have matured in a very nice way. And something happened. And something that I think Apple was afraid of, at least a bit. People realized that they want some change. And look at where we are now. Android, in my opinion, had time to mature. It had all the customizations, it had all the modifications that you could make, but it already is past the stage where it was all too much, where the hardware couldn't handle it. Right now, I think that Android is in really good state as an operating system. While iOS, people wanted a change, so iOS is starting to be more and more open. Some time ago we got a night mode. Some time ago we got a option to set another not Apple applications as default. Right now we have widgets, which I must say matured really nicely. Right now we have an application library. Right now you can customize the lock screen. And maybe there will be a day when I will be able to set my own wallpaper. Who knows? I'm looking forward to that actually. But I think iOS right now is kind of in a place where Android was a couple of years ago. And it will get through it. iOS will get through it, don't get me wrong. It will mature, it will open up a bit more, and it will be basically okay. But right now, I think that the customization that they are adding to the system is making it difficult for Apple, for iOS developers of the system. And bugs are just one thing that supports what I'm saying. The other is, for example, issues with battery life, something that was really exceptional in the 13 lineup. Right now, we see more and more people having issues with their battery life on their iPhones. Why is that? I don't know, but who knows? Maybe it's because of all the customization that they are adding to the system. And just listen to me. The system is getting more and more complicated, and the more moving parts you have, the more likely it is for the whole system to somewhat break. And like I said, I think that Android right now is at the stage where they have found their way of managing the large set of moving parts, while I think that iOS is right now on a pretty steep learning curve. And like I said before, it will get better. But right now, I think that there are some really interesting times ahead of iOS users. But we'll see. And I would be very much interested in what you think about this. Please leave a comment. I would very much like to know your opinion on this. Have a great day and see you next time.